Let's talk about something that's absolutely central to the world of crypto. When your assets are sitting on an exchange, who actually owns them? Well, a really important legal decision just came out of India that's shaking things up. And in this explainer, we're going to break down a ruling that could completely change how we answer that question.
I mean, it's the nightmare scenario, right? The one that keeps every crypto investor up at night. You've got your assets on an exchange, you think they're safe, and then boom, disaster strikes. The exchange gets hacked and everything is locked down. So, what happens then? Are your funds just gone? Just thrown into this big pot of losses with everyone else?
Well, hold on, because a court in India has just delivered a pretty powerful and frankly groundbreaking answer to that exact question. And it's an answer that really strengthens the rights of individual investors pretty much everywhere.
Okay, so let's dive right into the ruling itself. The Madras High Court in India has made this monumental declaration. They've officially recognized cryptocurrency as a form of legal property. Now, this isn't just about wording or legal jargon. This has massive, real-world consequences.
And you really have to pay attention to the exact words the judge used here. He says crypto is property, something that can be possessed. But the key phrase, the absolute game changer, is that it's capable of being held in trust. What that means is an exchange isn't just holding a debt to you, like an IOU. No, they are holding your specific property for you. It's yours. So how did the court even get to this point? Well, they basically just went down the classic checklist for what makes something legal property. Is crypto definable? Yep. Is it identifiable on the blockchain? For sure. Can you transfer it and control it? Absolutely, that's what private keys are for. The court looked at all that and said, yeah, this ticks all the boxes, this is property.
But of course, a ruling like this doesn't just happen in a vacuum. It was actually sparked by the story of one single investor who decided to take on one of India's biggest exchanges, WazirX.
So the story starts out pretty standard. An investor, Rutha Kumari, buys a chunk of XRP. But then WazirX gets hit with a huge cyber attack, and they do what many exchanges do. They freeze everybody's accounts. After waiting and waiting for a fix that just wasn't coming, she decided, nope, I'm taking this to court. And we're not talking about a small incident here. This hack was massive. We're talking about losses of around $230 million. So the exchange's response was basically to try and spread that pain across its entire user base. And this is where we get to the heart of the fight. On one side, you have Rutha Kumari saying something very simple. Hey, that XRP is my personal property. You were just looking after it for me. But on the other side, WazirX argued that their plan meant all users had to share the hit proportionally. It's a concept sometimes called socializing the losses. Now, let's zoom out for a second, because this Indian ruling is a big deal, but it's not happening in isolation. It actually brings India right in line with how other major countries are starting to think about digital assets. You know, when you look at the global landscape, a really clear pattern emerges. Whether you're looking at the US, the UK, or Singapore, courts are all starting to treat crypto as property. They're freezing assets, issuing restraining orders, and agreeing that these digital tokens can be held in trust for someone. With this new ruling, India has officially joined the club. So what's the bottom line here? The big takeaway is that legal systems all over the world are finally catching up. They're building stronger protections for digital asset owners and moving away from this old idea that your crypto is just some kind of IOU from an exchange. Okay, so let's bring this all back home. What does this fancy legal shift actually mean for you, for the average investor, and for the exchanges that we all use? This is probably the clearest way to think about it. Before this ruling, your crypto on an exchange was basically an unsecured claim. If the exchange went under, you were just another creditor in a long line. But now, the argument is that it's your personal property. The exchange is just holding it for you, like a safety deposit box. That gives you a way stronger legal claim. So let's just quickly break it down. For you, the investor, it means stronger rights. Simple as that. For exchanges, well, they're probably going to have to take a hard look at their terms of service and how they handle user funds. And for the market as a whole, this kind of legal clarity is exactly what builds confidence and hopefully paves the way for smarter regulations down the road. But okay, before we get too carried away, we do need to add some important context here. This ruling is a huge step forward, for sure, but it is not the final word on the matter, not by a long shot. It is so important to remember a few things. First, this is an interim court order. It's not a law passed by the government.
It's also specific to this one case and this one asset, XRP. Future laws could totally change the game. And at the end of the day, actually getting your assets back still depends on a lot of things, especially when you're dealing with companies across different countries.
So this all leaves us with one final, huge question. This court ruling set an incredibly powerful precedent. But as this digital world keeps evolving, who's ultimately going to write the rulebook? Is it going to be judges figuring things out case by case? Or will it be lawmakers trying to build a whole new framework from scratch? That, right there, is the story to watch.